He actually worked behind the bar, so he was, you know, a bartender. Can you believe it? Marco, juggling like bars and juggling bars. Like, now that I think of it, why the heck did I give my number to that old man? Would you hate me if I said yes? I think self-love is when you provide and give yourself the same amount of love and care that you give to other people around you. Trust me, I don't know how I do it, but maybe I'm stronger than I think. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh yeah. Alright, so today we are going to be finally doing our Q&A, and trust me, I will be honest with you, I have tried filming this Q&A 2 to 3 times now, and Alex was taking his nap, and every time I started like the first question, he would always just wake up. So to answer your question, it would be, he's crying. Being close to family is really, really important, especially if you're in a city where you're kind of like new to everything. Oh, you're kidding me. Ah, he's awake once again. So I'm like, you know what, let's just put him in the video as well, and you know, there is no other way around it, because I really want to have this Q&A up and running, because I promised you guys that this would be up for like last week's video, and it did not go up, so I apologize. That's it. Alex will be joining our Q&A for the day. If you guys hear some like knocking like that, they are fixing the floor downstairs, so please bear with me. Anyways, let's just jump right into it. Let's dive right into it, guys, because I know that Alex will be feeling a little bit, you know, sleepy in a few minutes because it is close to his nap time. But let's just do this as quick as possible, you know, let's get right into the deets. I'm gonna be mixing YouTube and Instagram questions, so yeah, let's get started. First question is from Mami Sa. Let's see if we can get through our first question for today. Oh my goodness, we haven't even started. All right, I'm gonna try a different angle here. Angle. Tama ba? Angle, right. So our first question is from Mami Sa, and she says, kapag nag-transfer kayo dito, Milan mismo or Furi Milano, tipo Vigevano o Melegnano? So let me just translate in English because I don't know if I'll be able to put subtitles in, but yeah, she's asking, when we transfer to Milan, are we gonna live in the Milan center, like Milan city, or outside Milan, like the outer skirts of Milan, like Vigevano or Melegnano? So we did a vlog when we went to Vigevano because we went to see Marco's grandmother, but she's passed away, so you know, there's no reason for us to go back there anymore. So Vigevano, definitely not. That's the only reason why we went there in the first place. Vigevano, no, because Vigevano is like an hour away from Milan, so it's like really, really far. Now Melegnano, you guys have seen us in Melegnano, and the reason why we went to Melegnano is because Marco's brother lives there. And so we decided we will live in Melegnano or near Melegnano, because we thought, you know what, if we're gonna move to Milan, we might as well be close to a family member, because of course it is better to be close to a family member, especially if you're moving to a totally different region or city. That's the reason why we chose Melegnano. So to answer your question, to cut it short, we will be choosing to live outside of Milan, like the outer skirts, but not like too far, like 25 minutes away from Milan. And that's how far Melegnano is from Milan. Another thing is, like, we don't want to live in Milan center because for us it's too busy, and we don't really like busy. We just like, you know, quiet towns, because me and Mark are, you know, just a quiet type, so we don't really like busy city like places. And also Milan city center is like expensive, so yeah, no can do. Next question is from Keith Archie. What's one thing that you really want to do or experience before you get old? For me, I think one thing I want to experience or really achieve, I think it's more of an achievement or like my goal before I get old, which is kind of like, what, seriously, would be to really boom my YouTube channel. I don't know why, but I feel like I really want to boom it. I really want to be an inspiration to other Filipinas out there who are thinking of moving to Italy, so that they know what life is like here. And as much as I want to vlog even more, it's just that it's kind of hard around here because, you know, people aren't really used to people seeing vlogging. In Milan, when we went there, I wasn't really shy of vlogging because it's more of a city, and you know, people just don't really care. Here, there's just so much to say. People will say something. If there is one thing that I would want to experience, it would be really like reaching like just even 100,000 subscribers for me is just like an achievement already. But if we're gonna go into more of like let's say the serious experience, maybe that is actually a good question. I don't know, this is something that I would really need to think, but if it's like on the spot thought, it would be that, just reaching, like really booming my YouTube. Next is from Renaline de los Santos. Are you an Italian citizen now? So no, I'm not yet an Italian citizen. I have no idea when I will be an Italian citizen. I read somewhere that you become an Italian citizen after living here for 5 years, but if you are fluent in Italian. And the reason for that is because you have to take a language test, an Italian language test, and you need to have a certificate. So yeah, like good luck for me. So I have no idea when I'll become an Italian citizen. Another thing is, if you have a baby with an Italian, obviously Alex is, you know, automatically an Italian citizen. I haven't really applied to him yet for a dual citizenship. He is an Italian citizen because his dad is Italian and he was born in Italy. But since we have a baby, me and Marco have a baby, I can apply for an Italian citizenship, I think after a year or a year and a half, but that is only if you are fluent in Italian as well. So yeah, it's not that easy. Like the Italian language is something first that I would need to achieve, that I would need to reach before even thinking of applying for the Italian citizenship. Next question is from Keith Archie, and she says, do you get homesick? How do you deal with it? It's a yes for me. It's a big yes, yes, yes for me. I have gotten homesick ever since I came here. Like let's say 2 to 3 months, I moved to Italy. Oh my God. And I was like, wow, my goodness, this is really, really hard. First time I got homesick, I think was the worst time and the worst feeling for me, and I didn't know how to handle it. You know, before we went to Italy, I kind of thought, you know what, being homesick, I think I would be able to handle it, because I mean, I lived in Papua New Guinea for 7 years with my family and I didn't really feel homesick. So I think I'll be fine with it. Little did I know that it's a lot different when you're an adult. Little did I know that since I had more experience in the Philippines as an adult, I would miss more things, especially when I'm no longer there. There are a lot of times when I feel homesick, especially when I'm like nearing my period, and especially in occasions like this, in seasons like this, Christmas, New Year's, you know, when this is where you want to be like near your family. So how do I deal with it? I cry. That is, I think, the most obvious thing. I cry because it makes me feel a lot better. I feel that I am, you know, kind of flushing it out of my system. Sometimes you just have to cry. Sometimes you just have to let it out. Another thing would be, obviously, I call my brother, I call my children, I call my dad. But you know, it's never enough. Video call is it's just never, ever enough. So there's no way around being homesick, I guess. Something that you just have to deal with, get it out of your system, and move on. That's it, because this is the life now. Next question is, have you tried making pizza dough from scratch? You know, I've been wanting to do this, and I've watched Marco's mom do it. She's taught me, but I just never had the confidence to do it. I feel like I'm always going to make a mistake, but maybe one of these days, you know, maybe one of these days I'll ask her for the recipe, because I don't know it by heart, but I'll ask her for the recipe and then we'll do a vlog about it so we can make a pizza from scratch with pineapple. Is from Ina Estrella. Ano-ano po ang mga naging work nyo ni Kuya Marco bago kayo nagkakilala? So let me just translate this. She's asking, what was the work, or what were the jobs that you had before you and Marco met each other? So let's start off with Marco. Marco has a very, very interesting story, to be honest. I think that we should have a sit down with him and have him tell us about his story. So first, let me just cut it short for Marco. He moved to London, I think, when he was around 25, 24, and he didn't know English. And so his first job, I think he worked at this sandwich place, kind of like a Subway. And then he worked in a restaurant, and that's where he met his ex. I know that story. He worked at a restaurant, and you know, he actually worked behind the bar, so he was, you know, a bartender. Can you believe it? Marco juggling like bars and juggling bars. Marco juggling these alcohol in his hands. He got fired from that job because yeah, Marco mixing things in the kitchen, in the bar. No, not Marco. He was a bartender. He worked at Subway making sandwiches. And then I think after that, I think he then got into the guitar world of teaching. Before that, he was in a band. He worked in a band, you know, London, a lot of bars, clubs. So he was in a band. They did gigs around London. After that, he then went solo and just decided to do everything online by teaching or having like private lessons with people around London, kids around London. So yeah. And then for me, I've always been in the call center industry world. So ever since, like, let's go back 2000 and let's say 2009, my first work was for an outbound call center in Batangas. And I remember my first payout was like 5,000 pesos. And I shouldn't say it's only 5,000 pesos because it's still something, but man, 5,000 pesos for a graveyard shift for an outbound where you have to call and make people, you know, like what you're saying and offering is like not worth it for 5,000. So that was my first ever job. And then I moved to teleperformance for 4.5 years. And that's where I think I lasted long, pretty long, I guess. And then after that, I worked for a background screening company where I think I worked there for, I don't even remember. Yeah, that was before I met Marco. And it was kind of like, you know, it wasn't a call center, but, you know, kind of like an office type thing. Now I am a YouTuber. YouTuber, charat. From Ina Estrella, may sports po ba kayo ni Kuya Marco? Each other? Pwede ba yun? We sport each other. Charot. From Ina Estrella, nag-cheat na po ba kayo? Have you ever cheated? Would you hate me if I said yes? Next question is from Keith Archie. What's the recent life lesson you've learned there in Italy? That is actually a good one. I like these deep questions, but it's something that would take me like a few moments later. But for me, I think if I were to think on the spot, it would probably be, you have to be strong. You know, you can't be a weakie. If you decide to live here in Italy, you can't be a weakie. And I'm talking like not on behalf of like how an Italian sees it. Obviously this is their country. But I'm talking as a Filipina living overseas, living in Italy. The life lesson I've learned is you really have to be strong. You can't be weak. If you let yourself be weak in these times, or especially during the pandemic where you can't go home, you will lose. You will literally go crazy because it is, you know, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different story. A lot of people think like, oh, she's overseas, she's in Italy, or she's in the US, or she's in I don't know where. Filipinos automatically think that we have the best lives. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm in Italy. Maybe I'm getting the best food, better than food in the Philippines, or maybe I'm getting fresher food, or, you know, the healthcare system is better here. But you guys also have to understand how life is a lot different than the Philippines is, and it's something that we have to adjust to as Filipinas, especially if we live in a totally different country. And another life lesson I think I've learned is how having friends around you is like really important. You guys know I don't have any friends around here, like no one. That's why I'm pushing to move to Milan, because I know more people up north, and especially Milan. But here, I've lived here for 3 years and I don't have any friends around me. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I get through the day, because having friends around you is really important. I mean, you can just go out, speak to someone else, you know, talk about your day, and just be outside of your bubble. It's really important because it's kind of like another way out of showing yourself. In Marco, obviously he's my friend, but you know, we also have to have other people around in our lives to be able, you know, to let ourselves out. I mean, Marco, he has his family around here. He can always talk to them anytime. He talks to them every day. He sees them almost every day. But for me, what do I have? I don't even have friends around here. Trust me, I don't know how I do it, but maybe I'm stronger than I think. From Keith Archie again, funniest experience there in Italy. Okay, let's do a short story time, a really quick one. This was like 2 months, maybe 3 months that I've lived here in Italy. We were still living at my in-laws' place. I went out to do a little bit of grocery. I came back and I was buzzing the gate and no one was opening, and then there was this car right by the gate. There's this old man that comes out and he starts talking to me in Italian. I mean, like 2 months in Italy, I had no idea like what he was saying. All I understood was he was guessing my nationality, because he was saying like Japanese, Korean, and I said no, Filipino. the Filipina. And then I kind of understood. I don't know how I understood it, but sometimes, you know, when you're in the situation, you kind of guess what they say and it's almost always right. So he started asking me if I had work, what was I doing here, and maybe I could work for him and help him out with his disabled daughter who was in the car. And so I automatically thought, okay, so this guy sees a Filipina wearing shorts, wearing a t-shirt, who looks really tan, like typical Filipina girl entering an Italian house, and this man automatically thinks that I'm a maid of this house. I felt really offended, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying that our maids, you know, Filipina maids are like, you know, this, but not at all. It's just that I hate how they think that when you see a Filipina, that's what you think right away. For me, when we moved to Milan, I don't give a crap if I work as a maid, as a housekeeper. That is totally okay, but it's just, how can you think this of me? I don't know how to say that in a good way and not come out in a negative way. Why would you think that I'm a maid just because, you know, you guys get what I mean? Well, I hope you guys get what I mean. So I said, no, scusa, I am married to an Italian. And he's like, ah, okay. And then he kind of understood that I was married to an Italian. He says, maybe do you know anyone in the Philippines? Maybe your friends, your relatives that wants to come and blah, blah, blah. He said, can I ask for your number? And me, stupid in me, I gave my number. And so I told Marco and he got really upset. He's like, why did you give your number? And I kind of thought, yeah, that's true. Why did I give my number? I thought I was actually helping out in a way. Me always wanting to help out. But no, now that I think of it, why the heck did I give my number to that old man? Weird. Next question is from Bella Core. What gift do you give your husband? So I've given him for his birthday would be the smartwatch. I did a vlog about that. Last Christmas, I gave him a perfume. And then for his birthday last year, I gave him a personalized book for him and Alex. The year before that, I gave him for Christmas a PS4. And then for Christmas before that, I don't remember, but I've given him a wallet, I've given him a watch, and I've given him my heart. Shut up! That's it. That's all the gifts I've given him. I'm running out of, you know, options here. Next question is from Castanjeda. Hindi ko alam talaga kung paano to pronounce. Castanjeda na lang. Liana. Share how to manage your full-time job to Alex and household. Walk out, because I have no idea. I honestly don't know. You just have to wing it, seriously. Just sometimes it's all over the place. There are days when I feel like I can do it. You know, there are days where I feel like I am intact, I can handle Alex, I'm doing great. And then there are most days where I feel like I'm all over the place. It's not consistent. It's not every day that I have it all together. It's not every day that I am, you know, all over the place. I guess it really depends as well on how I move. But one thing I noticed that once bumabad ako, or once I start searching on social media and just kind of like scroll, that's when I lose it. That's when I lose the momentum, I lose the routine, because instead of scrolling, I could have been editing a video. Instead of scrolling, I could have been doing the dishes. But then you really can't blame yourself, because, you know, sometimes you just kind of want to sit down and just have a quiet moment and just kind of catch up on social media. And I don't think that's bad. You know, sometimes I do it because I feel that I deserve it, and sometimes I feel that I need it. And then there are days when I feel like, you know what, get the dishes done, get the editing done, get the house chores done. And then at the end of the day, around 11 p.m. when everyone is asleep, that is my quiet time. That's when I start searching on social media. And then, you know what, that's when I start to think you shouldn't be scrolling on social media this late, because you should be sleeping. To cut the story short, Liana, I have no idea how I manage it. I think if there was something that I can advise you, but I'm not an expert, because I also asked for you guys for this. Find a routine, find a rhythm, because if you lose that rhythm and you look somewhere else, or you just take a step off the rhythm, or you lose the rhythm, or you take the beat off the rhythm, then I think that's where it all goes haywire. You know, like, what the heck am I doing today? Why did I not do anything today? Regarding the household, trust me, I have no idea what I'm doing with the household. There is no system in the household. I just try to get things done when I can. But one thing is for sure, there is never a day now where I can clean the whole house in one day. Because when I try to do it, I lose my attention on Alex, I lose my attention on YouTube, I lose my attention on myself. And so, yeah, just find your way around it. Next question is from Miss Laureen. Is Marco teaching you how to drive? Sana we can see you drive soon. Hehe, love watching your vlogs. Thank you so much. I love it when people say, love watching your vlogs. Like, they're really watching my vlogs. It makes me happy. I don't know why. No, Marco is not teaching me how to drive. Like, driving, just, I don't know. It's not, I don't know how to drive, first of all, but I have to. I have to learn how to drive because when we moved to Milan and Alex goes to school, I have to drive him to school if the school is, far. And I also want to learn how to drive. It's something that I have to learn because when you're in Milan, you kind of have to be independent. I can't ask Marco, come here with me there. I can't ask Marco to drive me to Milan city center where I want to meet my friends, Now, the thing is, when you want to get a driver's license here in Italy, you have to learn Italian because there is an exam you have to take for the driver's license, which is in Italian. So, how do we go about that? Well, one thing is for sure, I would need to go back to the Philippines, apply for a driver's license. Once I get my driver's license, come back here to Italy, and then I will convert that to Italian. Sounds easy, right? Well, I sure hope so because it sounds, it just looks complicating for me, but we can do it. We can do it. But first, let's learn how to drive. And our last question, can you define self-love? That is a beautiful question that I don't know how to answer. How can we define self-love? I think self-love is when you provide and give yourself same amount of love and care that you give to other people around you. Example, Alex and Marco. The way I show them I care about them, that I love them, I provide for them, I cook for them, I take care of them, is the same exact way that I should be showing myself, providing myself and caring for myself. That is self-love. Finding the time to really focus on yourself because it's important. Self-love is highly important, and it's not even, just now because we have a baby. Even before meeting Marco, I didn't have any self-love for myself. It was always about who I was with, my partner. It was all about his needs. It was all about his wants, making sure that I provided it because I was scared that I would be replaced, that he would cheat on me, he would find someone else. It was always about 100%, well, not really, 99% always on him. That is why I'm not happy in our relationship because I don't love myself. I love you, but who's gonna love me? You don't even love me. I don't even love myself. After all the chaos with that relationship, I then started loving myself. I started to care for myself. I started to just look after myself. And then when I found myself and, found that self-love, I then found Marco. So there's this thing that I found on YouTube. I think Marco introduced this to me, and it's called fish love. And it really explains what is self-love. And I'll just read the last part, but you guys can check it out on YouTube. Just type fish love. And it says here, people make a serious mistake in thinking that you give to those whom you love. And the real answer is you love those to whom you give. His point is, if I give something to you, I've invested myself in you. Since self-love is a given, everybody loves themselves. Now, that part of me has become in you. There's a part of me in you that I love. True love is a love of giving, not a love of receiving. So for me, what it means is when you start to love yourself and you've already found, self-love, you've really learned to love yourself. When you found someone to love, you give a part of you to that someone because you trust him with a part of you. And when you give that part of you, you already love yourself, all right? Because you're already giving it to him for him to love. And when you love him, you also love a part of you, right? Do you guys get that? I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit confusing, but it is such a beautiful meaning. Fish love. Go check it out, guys. And that concludes actually our Q&A for the day. I don't know how many minutes this is. I tried to do this as quick as I can. But yep, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Alex is busy, thank goodness, with his TV. I kind of cheated a little bit, but that is a-okay. I will end this video with a thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.